Hey folks, Tyler here from Seaway Whisky. Well guys, 2024 is soon going to be behind us and we're all anxiously awaiting the arrival of 2025, and I wanted to do a quick wrap up to share with you guys not only my first year as a YouTuber, but also plans for the channel in 2025. So go watch the intro, come on back, and we'll talk about that while I enjoy myself a nice dram of Sons of Vancouver Realms of Rye Series 1. Stick around guys. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and it's that time of year where all the whiskey tubers are wrapping everything up and trying to get themselves ready for 2025, and really I'm no different. I started the channel back in January of 2024 and have been at it since then and really enjoying the process and all that kind of stuff. But I also am a planner by nature, and now is the time, and especially in my business that I'm in, I'm not sure what business you guys are in, but this is the time of year for setting goals and doing readiness reviews and kind of getting ourselves primed and ready to attack 2025 swiftly and eloquently. So I just want to give you guys kind of a wrap up of my first year experience as a YouTuber, and also do a couple shout outs to some folks, and share with you guys some of my plans and my goals for 2025 for the channel. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off, I've got my notes here like I do normally, but you don't usually see them on camera. But I wanted to start off kind of reviewing my first year as a YouTuber here. And I decided to try my hand at the YouTube game when the idea was presented to me by a buddy of mine, funny enough, at a local Scotch club. And I spent the better part of a month or so on and off researching it. I'm the kind of guy that, if ideas brought to me and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with both feet in. I'm not going to do it halfway. So I spent the better part of a month just kind of planning things, researching video creation methods, researching editing tools and making sure I had the right editing tool, and then talking to my family, talking to Mrs. Seaway, trying to figure out, hey, look, I'm going to try my hand at this. The commitment level is going to be, X amount of hours a week. I'm going to be downstairs in the basement doing some filming and whatnot. I'm going to be editing. I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other thing. I've got a commitment to social media, and just making sure she was cool with the idea there before I go, because again, I don't do things halfway here. I go both feet in. But once that was all looked after, and I had kind of made up my mind about what tool I was going to use, kind of the method of the process I was going to use to make the videos, the steps that I would follow when making the videos, I just kind of jumped in and tried my foot at it, and I went through a couple iterations before I was confident enough to really publish a video. But I was keen on it, and one thing I did follow was something I'd heard from another YouTuber, and that's don't just release, don't do one video at a time. Release multiple videos to kind of have a bit of a back catalog to kind of go with. So I did that. I released, I think at the time I released 2 or 3 videos at the beginning, and Our Big Wee Beastie was number 1. I think the Abalor 12-year-old was number 2. And then I did a history on Robbie Burns, kind of in the same niche area. So it was really nice way to go about it. But my year 1 goals, I had them written down in my other notebook there, but I put them back down here. My year 1 goals might seem a little bit, that's good, a little bit pedestrian now, but I didn't set so many goals for myself because I didn't know, number one, you don't know if the channel is going to take off. You don't know if you're going to enjoy the process. You don't know what the longevity is going to be. So, year 1 goals was to have 250 subscribers. That was my year-end goal for year 1. I figured if I was, around 100 by midway point, I'd be happy and content. Currently, right now, as I'm filming, I think I've got 395 subscribers. So. Thank you to all those who have subscribed. I really appreciate it, and hope you guys are enjoying the content as much as I love creating it. So thank you to the subscribers. I originally had outlined that I was going to do 12 to 15 different whiskeys to complete reviews on. I can safely say I far exceeded that. I think I came in somewhere in the vicinity of 22 to 25 different whiskeys that I reviewed this year, between Irish, Scotch, bourbon, rye. Canadian whiskey. It was a great year for me, and far exceeded the expectations and goals that I had set for myself. And the third one is to complete the Ardbeg core range. That was something that was very important to me. Ardbeg at the time, when I started the channel, was like my favorite distillery, and I was adamant to complete the entire core range for Ardbeg. And between me and my buddy Jake, we've succeeded in that. We've got the entire core range. It's actually sitting up on the bar over there. I'll probably put a picture of it up here and put a picture of it on Instagram. You guys know what it looks like anyways. But what really surprised me when I got into the YouTube game and kind of got into the process here, before I get talking, I got another sip of this Sons of Vancouver Realms of Rye, which we'll get into some thanking and shout outs here in a minute, guys. So what really surprised me about being a YouTuber in year one? Number one, how much I personally enjoyed the process. Making sure you have to be a kind of a planner, right? And set aside the time and critique the whiskey. So making notes, trying different whiskeys, trying them in different glasses, different areas of the house, whatever. Researching the distillery and learning about the distillery and the production methods they're using for each whiskey. Very crucial, but also very rewarding to understand and learn more about each distillery as they go. Filming the video. At the time it was my least favorite part. Now I really enjoy coming down here and planning out and kind of trying to get them. I try and get them down as least amount of takes as possible just to save time. And you know what? There's some videos that they'll take me 10 minutes to film. There's some videos take me like an hour to film. But I am tenacious and I am passionate, and I want to make sure I do it right and do it justice. So that's a good part of the process. Editing the videos. I really enjoy getting the videos in the editing program. Sometimes I go a little bit overboard with the editing, especially with all the little images and stuff on there. But I mean, I really do enjoy it and thoroughly enjoy the process of editing and getting those videos posted to YouTube. Managing my social media accounts. I don't have that many. I've got a Seaway Whisky-wire Instagram page, which if you haven't already done, and you've probably seen it a million times, check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskywire. I also have a Facebook page too. You get more hits on Instagram. Obviously, I think I'm just shy of 1,000 followers now on Instagram. But I really enjoy the process of doing it. It's a fun little gig, and it's great, and it keeps me busy in my spare time, and still gives me enough time to focus on Mrs. Seaway and Miss Minnie Seaway and our pup Roxy, who sometimes makes an appearance. You'll hear her shaking around in the videos sometimes as she comes down here and hangs with me in the basement while I'm doing the filming. And the second thing that really surprised me is the community that we have. John the Whiskey Neighbor just celebrated 9,000 subscribers, and one thing he really was talking highly about was the community that we work in or serve in or contribute to, and I just love it. Between local groups, online groups, other YouTubers, everyone's excited to support the endeavor that I had. I can safely say I reached out to multiple YouTubers, and most of them, if not all of them, got back to me and had some pretty good feedback for starting things out. I met some great guys at a local online group, or local to me online group, that have really done a nice job of supporting me and kind of helping me go in the right direction and giving me guidance where I need it. So appreciate that. With those two surprises, I thought we'd get into some shout outs here, because a lot of this is made possible. So number one, obviously, Mrs. and Minnie Seaway. I appreciate them. They have to put up with me coming down here and doing this and editing and going through the social media aspect of it, and I appreciate them giving me the support they do. Mrs. Seaway, she makes me the merch and all that kind of stuff. She's done some coasters, done all sorts of stuff for me, Christmas ornaments. I can't say enough to Mrs. Seaway and Minnie Seaway for their support, as long as Minnie Seaway stops mentioning it to her teachers at school. But anyway. Shout outs to some of the YouTubers that have really helped me along the way. The first two that come to mind are John the Whiskey Neighbor and Matt from Whiskey on the West Coast. Just thank you guys so much for your candid discussion. I've reached out to you guys multiple times. You always get back to me via email or text or phone call. Just really appreciate you guys giving me your insight and a little bit of guidance and a little bit of kick when I need it. And people say sometimes opinions don't matter, but I care about your opinions, and sometimes there was a couple times where you need a little pick me up or needed some little bit of encouragement, and I knew I was onto something. So just appreciate you guys for for a little bit of feedback and being supportive of the channel, comments, and all that fun stuff that goes with it. So thank you very much. Another one to give thanks to Mr. Ian Hanna for Ian Hanna and Sons amazing Glenfarclas tasting I went to in February of this past year. Really, I already had a love affair with Glenfarclas to begin with, but that really skyrocketed it. I went and I tasted Glenfarclas 15 all the way up to the 40-year-old. If you haven't watched my video where I talk about that, you should go back and watch it. Not just for the views and the view time and all that kind of stuff, metrics, but just because it is interesting. And sometimes I'll go back and revisit just to kind of relive everything again. But thank you, Ian, for inviting me, having me there. Made me feel like a somebody, even though I was a nobody in a group of a bunch of somebodies. So thank you very much, sir. All my friends from Southern Ontario Sippers SOS group. I have the coin here, the challenge coin that sits on top of the dram a lot. Bobby, Joel, all you guys over there, Gary, Andrew, all those guys that send me stuff, Chuck for getting together to pick up bottles and stuff. Really appreciate you guys, and thank you very much for your support of the channel. Can't let this Realms of Rye go to waste, guys. Randall the Whiskey Shaman. Randall had me on my first live stream and was great. Always invites me on. Sent me some samples. Sent me a bottle of Elijah Craig. Still owe you, actually, Randall, so I got to get back to that. But thank you so much for being there for me and sending me up all that stuff from the U.S., from the great state of Texas. So thank you guys very much. Next, the Bourbon School crew. All the guys at Bourbon School, thank you guys for the shout out. Bourbon School, and it was completely surprise to me. They had nominated me for one of their YouTube channels to look out for, and I was just sitting there one day, and all of a sudden people started to subscribe, and I couldn't figure it out. So, Brian and ladies, thank you guys so much for supporting that and that initiative and the kind words, Brian, that you mentioned in the video. So thank you very much. If you guys haven't checked out any of the guys that I've mentioned here, between Bourbon School, Randall the Whiskey Shaman, John the Whiskey Neighbor, or Matt from Whiskey on the West Coast, I'll put all that stuff down below. If you guys need to go look at those guys and pay attention to them, because I sure do, and very influential guys for sure. And then next of all is all the brands that supported the channel this year. You know, I cold called a lot of different brands and talked to people at whiskey festivals, and I got a tremendous amount of support. So I need the list because it's a pretty decent list. And John the Whiskey Neighbor, John's always jealous of my mail calls. At least he says he is. But you know what? I'm jealous of all the stuff he gets, especially from the Sons of Van, because he gets an awful lot of it. But Sons of Van is terrific. And they're on the list. So we'll start off with Luxco. Luxco was nice enough to send over the Ezra Brooks and the Yellowstone samples this year. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Luxco. Thank you very much, Jennifer. I still got her letter up here that she sent me, the nice card that she sent me when she sent the samples over. Proximo Spirits for the Bushmills they sent over. I was talking to a gentleman back in February at a Whiskey Wonderland festival and mentioned I didn't have any Irish whiskey for Irish Whiskey Month. They fixed that. Thank you very much. Proof and Wood, the folks over at Proof and Wood. Thank you guys so much for sending over 3 expressions. They sent over 3 expressions, the Senator, the Representative, and the Jackpot 777 Cross Border, which I'll be reviewing shortly here, guys. Again, they reached out to me, super stoked to be part of a partnership with Proof and Wood. Very awesome guys, and appreciate all the samples you sent over and the support of the channel. Sons of Vancouver, James, Jenna, and Max. Cheers, Slanja. Thank you guys. Kind of crossed paths with them on one of John's live streams. Reached out to them. They were nice enough to send me a bottle of Realms of Rye, and I am still tickled pink on these guys. Everything they do is excellent. I hear nothing but good stuff, especially from my group in the SOS and from all the reviews that I see John doing. So keep up the good work, Sons of Van. Excellent. And I'm a Canuck fan too, so I mean, there's a little bit of a tie in there too. I don't know if I mentioned that to them, but anyway. Folks over at Dunrobin Distilleries in Vankleek, Ontario. One of my first sets of samples they sent over. They just sent over some small samples there, but I did some little reviews on them there, and really appreciate them sending that over. Cuddy Sark. Cuddy Sark is a more recent mail call there. Sent over 3 expressions from the Cuddy Sark lineup. I've only reviewed. I kind of gave you first impressions on one, and then I used the original blended Scotch in the Hot Toddy video. But I do have some other videos planned for Cuddy Sark, so more to come in the future. And the last but not least is the folks over at Bridgeland Distillery in Calgary. Sent over bottles of their Taborcorn bourbon and their Glenbow single malt Canadian whiskey. I love both of them, and I'm working on a review for them in the new year too. So yeah, thank you guys to that. Hopefully I got everybody on that list there, but thank you guys for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it, and be talking to you guys in the future, hopefully too. All right, probably what you guys are mainly tuning into, and that's plans for 2025. go in for one more sip of my Realms of Rye Series 1. So plans that I have. So one thing I just want to state is that I believe it's important to share your goals and make them public. And it just keeps me focused and helps keep me accountable. So this is part of why I'm doing it. So just want to make sure I'm sharing them with you guys, making them public, and then it holds me accountable and allows me to focus on them. So number one, Seaway Whiskywire is going to remain a Scotch-focused whiskey channel. As much as I want to get into some other avenues, I'm still going to focus primarily on Scotch because there's so much ground to cover and so much that I still want to try. The list of what I want to try is much longer than the list of what I have on the bar. So, and most of my stuff on my wish list is Scotch whiskey. So we're going to be focused on getting that, and I'll still be heavily focused on Scotch whiskey for the coming year. Secondly, heightened focus on the Canadian craft distilleries. Obviously, I live in Canada here, and I feel the market is severely underappreciated by the rest of the world. You know, great distilleries like Sons of Vancouver, great distilleries like Bridgeland and Calgary. You know, there's some great distilleries that have yet to send me some bottles that are on my way, and I want to highlight those guys and have a good focus on them, and not just make them a kind of a throwaway line or whatever. I know the views aren't always there, but you know what, guys? Canadian whiskey needs to be appreciated. Canadian whiskey needs to be paid attention to, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that it is paid attention to this year. So there will be a heightened focus on Canadian craft distilleries on Seaway Whiskywire. All right. To go along with that tour and highlight some Canadian distilleries as well. I've only toured a couple of distilleries. I haven't actually done videos of them. So yeah, I'm going to make some plans to set up some visits and do some videos inside the distilleries and go along and kind of see some of these distilleries and try and promote some of these local distilleries that are local to me, because I think that's important as well. Try more new things and strive to enhance my bourbon and world whiskey journey, and attend more whiskey festivals and tastings. So world whiskey and bourbon are two areas that I really, really lack in, mainly because it's tougher to find them around here. And again, I'm mainly focused on Scotch whiskey, and there's so much Scotch that I want to try and buy that I just focus more heavily on that. But I do want to increase my knowledge base and the amount of world whiskey and bourbon that I try, especially some of the more highly touted, more widely recognizable brands, just to kind of get a feel for what it's all about. And that'll make me a sharper person to talk to about bourbon and world whiskeys, because I don't have the exposure to it. And then part and parcel of that is whiskey festivals and tastings. Take part in some more whiskey festivals and tastings. We've got Whiskey Wonderland that I do attend, but I've had opportunities to go to other whiskey festivals and local tastings, and I don't always take advantage of them. And either that's time or whatever it is, but I'm going to try and make time. I'm putting it down, and that's why we're making it public. It's to make me accountable to it, guys. And along with that, I want to reach 1,000 subscribers. Gauntlets tossed down. I want to reach 1,000 subscribers by this time next year. We're at almost 400 now. I want to keep striving to that. It's a tough one for me to say that out loud, but I'm committed to the channel. I'm committed to the cause, and I want to get there. I want to say that I made it to 1,000. And then after that, we'll see what happens. I imagine I'll be saying 2,000 to you pretty quickly. But yeah, I want to make 1,000 subscribers next year. Live streams. So live streams is an area that I've kind of toyed with a little bit. John's been very complimentary of, you'll be good on live stream. You need to have more confidence. I really need to kind of get myself, I need to kind of understand what I want to do with it. But again, I'm putting it out here. I want to do 1 to 3 live streams next year. And again, not sure what the topic's going to be, but I'm also committed to the channel and committed to the cause. John, I'll probably be reaching out to you about the live streams. Randall, you do a ton of live streams. I'll be reaching out to you, my friend. Need some inspiration and kind of understanding of how it works. That's just how I am. And lastly is, I don't want to make a chore out of the project. I love the process. I love the community. It's a labor of love for me. Seaway Whiskywire. I'm in the Canadian Seaway here. I'm representing the Canadian Seaway. I'm representing Canada when I'm on here doing this. And I don't take it lightly, but if it ever becomes a chore, I will be the first to tell you that I will not be part of it. this endeavor, because it's a labor of love. It's something I enjoy doing, and as long as I keep loving it and keep doing it, I am going to keep it going. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. So some pretty big goals for me in 2025. Again, I've made them public, so you can hold me to it if you ever see me out in public or you want to make a comment about whatnot, but they are public now. So anyways, I'm going to wrap up with that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It's different from my regular take on whiskey, but you know what? If nothing else, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a highlight of my year, highlight of what I kind of achieved, and then also to highlight what we're going to see in 2025. So I'll leave you guys with that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you're still hanging around this long, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Love coming down here and making these videos. Let's share my thoughts and opinions, even stuff that's kind of, you know, abstract like this and kind of more me rambling about stuff. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to the end. So cheers. All the best to you guys. Happy 2025. Happy New Year. And we'll see you around, guys. Bye for now.